Welcome to where the magic happens. This is where I become a better orientation and mobility specialist. And yes, there are in person professional development opportunities everywhere. We also have great online options. Let me walk you through what your options are for professional development as an orientation and mobility specialist. And no, I'm not just going to be talking about my own. Hopefully that transition worked. We are official YouTubers now, so like and subscribe and welcome back to my series, What is Orientation and Mobility? Specifically for my orientation and mobility specialists, or if you are thinking about joining us in the profession, come be my friend. Let's talk about professional development. This is our third video where I'm just talking at you. I'm not going to be showing you any skills. In the first video, I already shared what orientation and mobility is. It's helping people who are blind or visually impaired know how to figure out where they are in space, orientation, and where they want to get to mobility. We also went into a bunch of other things about orientation and mobility, gives you a great background. And in the last video, I shared how you can become an orientation and mobility specialist, what your day might look like, and who is going to pay you. That is the key. So you're there, right? Like you're an O&M specialist. What about professional development? Can't just watch YouTube videos all day. They're great, but how do I actually get quality information? I'm going to share with you what I look for in professional development. And as somebody who runs international conferences and my entire everything, like how I pay my bills, is based on providing quality and exceptional professional development to O&M specialists on a global scale. I will give you the ins and outs of exactly what you want to look for when you're thinking about how do I get better at this? So I was sitting at brunch today with one of my friends who's a university professor, and super grateful that we get to have this friendship, and that's only possible because of the symposium, because otherwise, I don't have the chance to be in rooms with people who are getting their PhD and then becoming professors. I'm typically stuck in rooms with other orientation and mobility specialists, maybe, but definitely not getting into spaces where there's a plethora of other perspectives. And that's exactly what the symposiums have done for me. This one that I met her in was the TVI symposium. We have 2 different symposiums that happen every year. And this is whatever profession you're in, this is the room to be in. But nonetheless, when you are looking for professional development, there are a few things I want you to take into consideration, okay? First and foremost, I'm going to give you 5 separate entities that you can get professional development opportunities from. Some of them will give you free opportunities. Some of them you have to pay for it. You have to be in the membership or however it's going to work. It depends on their funding. The first is our society. If you haven't heard me talk about it, the Society of Exceptional Educators is our membership. But not only is it just like a free membership that you can join, because who really wants just a free membership? I mean, I love you all. I know you like me, but do you really need that? What we want to offer you is actual tangible strategies that are going to move the needle for you, that are easy to digest. So we have monthly meetups that will actually give you the strategies you need to move your educational career forward. We also provide weekly tips and tricks in our newsletter, and we have a library that you can go into and grab some resources from. That is absolutely free. There's also AER, which is the abbreviation for the Association for the Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind and Visually Impaired. It's actually AERBVI. They have really great professional development. This is our major association. No matter where you are in the profession of teaching people with visual impairments, they have separate divisions, and they're all they have state chapters. This is our big national one. If you're an orientation and mobility specialist, one of the cool professional development organizations that you can join is OMSA, O&M Specialist Association, and like guide dogs are in there, O&M specialists and O&Ms. Love the inclusivity there. There is a fee to join, but sometimes they do have town halls where you can join those professional development things for free. And those are really cool to stay on top of. If you're only working with adults, I highly suggest looking into the National Federation for the Blind. They are also an organization that provide professional development. You're going to have to look into that and see what you like. They, of course, again, are going to be following the structured discovery rules. A lot of them are going to be using the long white canes, and they are really, really rooting for the independence of people with visual impairments. So see if you like them. That's another organization that you can join. And there's also the International Mobility Council. This isn't necessarily an organization, but they do put on a conference every 2 years, I believe, and it's somewhere else in the world. I've never been, but I'm hopefully going to go soon. Oh my gosh, should I track that journey? I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it because what if I don't make it? Ugh. Those are all national or international, but locally, look into your local AER chapter, look into your local or your state deafblind projects or deafblind associations. They will also typically have some sort of professional development that you can look into. And then, of course, ours. So within the society, we have plenty of opportunities for you to get more professional development. Depends on exactly what you're looking for. If you are looking for monthly CEU workshops led by experts in the field, we've got that. And if you're looking for conferences, then we've got conferences as well. Anytime you're taking professional development, though, there are a few things that I want you to be looking for, okay? A, is this accessible to me where I'm at in my professional career? Is this something that I can actually get my hands on right now when I need it? Then the second thing that you're going to be looking at is the relevance to not just your current caseload, but your future caseload and your interest. A lot of times we don't really think about what's coming down the pipe as professionals. It's like the global thought leaders that are doing that level of thinking, and they're bringing that to us, but you have to be smart enough to know, okay, I see that cerebral visual impairments isn't going anywhere and I don't really know much about it. So I'm going to go to some of those conferences, or I'm going to go look up those professionals and see where they are teaching. I talked with one of my friends today about how what we typically do as teachers is we just say, okay, I go to this conference every year and this is what I'm going to keep doing and I'm just going to do that one. Or like, I'm going to look to see who has the best party, and I'm going to see who is the coolest person that's going to like have wine in their room or in the lounge or whatever at the hotel. And like, that's cool. But is that actually going to move your profession and your career forward? Also, are you only going to the presentations that you like because you're good at that already? So the third thing I'm going to suggest is to go to presentations that you would have no clue about had you not been in that room. Something that you're not already an expert in, something that you can't sit there and say, oh, yes, I already know this. Yes, I already know this. Yes, I already know this. What I want you to do is say, where am I not doing super well? And who can I learn from? And go find that person and see, where are they teaching? Maybe it's not at a conference that you usually go to. And while I absolutely love in-person conferences, you also have to think about, what are my needs at this exact moment? Do I need to be in person? Or can I take something online that's actually going to move the needle forward for me? So the fourth thing I want you to think about is, does the structure of this professional development actually move me forward in my career? If you're just taking one-off webinars that are free, you're probably not getting the best information that you could get. And I don't say that lightly, because what ends up happening when you're in a room full of like 500 other O&M specialists who are talking about the same thing that is being taught, you're going to learn so much more. And you're not going to have to go up to your friends later in the lobby and say, oh, what did you learn? Because you can always see your friends at any time. And you can take online professional development and online conferences when you are with your friends. Like, gather your friends. We've had people in the symposium gather all together, and I love that. And they send me pictures of them all hanging out and watching the O&M symposium up on their big screen. I know what it's like to be rushing and to have 3 different screens open, not paying attention to any of them just because you have to get your PD hours in within the next 24 hours. I've never done that before. But yeah, I actually did. I did. It was horrible. I retained nothing. But when I'm in a conference, especially one where I can take it from home, I don't have to travel, I don't have to deal with airports, I don't have to deal with packing a bag, I don't have to deal with not being there for my kids, I don't have to deal with getting a dog sitter or a house sitter, and I can just be at home and watch the presentations from the comfort of like my couch, my desk, I don't know, wherever you're going to watch conference presentations from, and I can engage with people talking in the chat, which people typically wouldn't do at an in-person conference. I actually get so much more communication and contact with my friends during those times than I would at an in-person conference. And to me, that fills me up so much. I don't know if you know part of my story, but I had 2 kids back to back, and like I could not go to the bathroom by myself, let alone a conference. Like, they used to have our conferences at my job site, which is the only reason I could go. And thank goodness I worked at a place that had a conference room, because our entire state conference was held on my campus. And so while I didn't get the chance to like go away or have a vacation, I'm sorry, but I don't need a vacation for work. Like, yes, it's nice to break out of the monotony, but work is work. If I want to spend money going on vacation, I'm going to spend money going on vacation with the people that I want to go on vacation with. If I want to go on vacation with my work friends, we'll go on vacation. I don't have to go on vacation to go to a conference, because typically what ends up happening is we have to foot that bill before it'll be reimbursed. That's why I love the symposiums so much. But there are plenty of other opportunities. No matter what you decide to do, think about, is the structure of this actually moving me forward? Am I just watching a bunch of free videos because they're free and because I can put 3 or 4 up on the screen at once, grab the CEU codes, and then go on with my day? That's probably not actually going to move you forward. And as I was talking with my university personnel friend today, I know I'm just going to keep plugging that because I just feel like, I don't know, it's so cool, right? It's just so cool. I feel kind of grown up. Somehow in my 40s, I'm feeling grown up these days. Like, I should start representing, I would say the millennials, but like, we're in our 40s now. But like, you know, remember when people would be like, ugh, millennials. Okay, well, here we are. We're almost running the show, so we're not doing so bad, right? But what we often don't do as millennials, or any other generation really, is make time for our professional development. I think that that's one of the biggest flaws that we have in general, is that we don't take the time out of our schedules. And you'll hear me say these 2 things multiple times, like over and over and over again. A, time is not had, it's made. So if you want to get better at whatever career you are going into or you are doing, whether it's O&M or anything else, you've got to make time to get better at it. It's not just going to come to you. For 2, what got you here won't get you there. So you are performing at the level that you're performing at because of the skills that you did before. But if you expect those skills that you did before to get you to a new level, that's literally the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you do the same things over and over again, but you expect to be better, it's not always going to work that way. Yes, you need to put in your reps. Yes, you need to get better at things, but that's going to give you a 2x. And we know that 10x is much easier than 2x. So when you think about it, one thing I want you to really figure out is how can I get more professional development in my day, in my week, in my year? And how can I make that investment on time work for me? Because we're all busy, and what you don't want to do is just let more and more time go by without you actually investing in yourself. Okay, that's the last video with me just chit-chatting. In our next videos, we're actually getting into strategies, O&M skills, and all of that fun stuff. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I really am starting to feel like there's a two-way connection, but I can only get that two-way connection when you actually chat back. If you're interested in any of the things that we're doing, there's a bunch of links below. You're welcome to join the free membership that we have, the society. And listen, again, it's not just like a free membership, woohoo. No, there's a full library of resources. There's a workshop that you can take right now and actually begin to implement so you can become a better orientation and mobility specialist, or really whatever kind of job you're doing in the world of visual impairments. And then if nothing else, my friend, subscribe, turn your notifications on so then that way when these videos drop, you're notified, and it's a less than 2-second notification. I hope that you can use this information to help you take a step forward and deciding what kind of professional development you're going to take to help you get to becoming the O&M specialist that you deserve to be, because your students really need you, especially these days. All right, friends. See you next week.